Hey, Matt here for M3. I realize everybody must be busy today, so I have something that I want to share with you guys about, what we're going through and what we're doing when we're doing our health and fitness and how self-image plays into that. So here it goes. This is our Proctor Gallagher consultant facilitation training for self-image. It's lesson 6, and it's called "Environment is but our looking glass," and that comes from a book I was just reading today called As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. But one of the greatest pioneers in self-image was Maxwell Maltz, and he said self-image sets the boundaries of individual accomplishment. And he found something really cool about that, because that book was written in 1960, but he was just a plastic surgeon of all things, and he found such great information about our self-image by going through the process of plastic surgery. What he noticed with people is that there was huge change in some people, and for some people there was almost no change whatsoever in their lives, even though their appearance had changed. And it had a, a profound impact on him. Like, why did that happen? And it was that we have two images. One we project to the world, but there's another image that's deeper than that, and that's the image that really matters. It's the image that we believe about ourselves. So it's the image that we believe about ourselves, that deep image that really matters, that's going to dictate what ultimately shows up in our world. And the difference in those two images is something that we need to find out about ourselves. As we go through this journey in the 40-day challenge of doing this, we need to find that out. What are we really thinking and feeling about ourselves? Because ultimately, you're going to seek that. Due to what we're sharing here, you're going to learn a little bit more as I go here, but that self-image sets the boundaries of your individual accomplishment. If you've ever achieved short amounts of success, to only have it go back and like, why did that happen? It has everything to do with this right here that I'm sharing with you. The self-image is the key to human personality and human behavior. Change the self-image and you change the personality and the behavior. Now, I study Neville Goddard a lot. Neville said, change your conception of yourself and you will automatically change the world in which you live. Do not try to change people. They are only messengers telling you who you are. Revalue yourself and they will confirm the change. And that's so true. Going out there in the world and trying to change what others are doing, what they're thinking, how they're acting toward you, it's fruitless. It doesn't pay off. You basically can't. But what you have full control over is you. And once you change you, the world will start to reflect that. If you've ever done this, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And if you don't, you should try doing it, because you would be amazed at how much the world becomes a reflection, or as James Allen said, environment is but our looking glass. So our world is just showing us something that we're thinking and feeling about ourselves, and it's showing us that on a deep level, what you're really thinking and feeling on a deep level. So Maltz, through his work as a plastic surgeon, discovered that we had two images. We had an image that we project to the world. That's our surface image, how we dress, walk, talk, and greet others. And it's something that we really want somebody to think about us, or the world, how we want the world to think about us. We all have that thing, that desire, but there's a deeper image of how we feel about ourselves. That's the second image. It's an internal image, and that's the way we perceive ourselves. That's how we look at ourselves. This image is a feeling, and it ultimately shows up at the results of our life. And it comes in the form of, people saying, well, I'm going to let my senses dictate what happens because I've always been a heavy person, or I've always struggled with exercise, or I've always struggled with my weight. That's an internal image, and it's an internal guiding force that's going to cause you to seek that, like a thermostat on your wall. Once you set the thermostat to a certain setting, you can open the front door and you can let cold air or hot air in. It doesn't matter. The thermostat is going to activate everything necessary in order to keep that temperature the same. That's what that internal image is really doing for you. And we need to address it. It's not something to be shameful about. It's just something to look at. You didn't program that into you. Your life and past experiences and other people program that into you, because the chances are you don't have an understanding of how to really program yourself. That's what this stuff really, really is about. So his book, by the way, I want to recommend it to you. Get it on Audible if you want. Matt Fury took it over and he reads it on Audible. It's really good. It'll blow your mind if you've never heard this before, but it's called Psycho Cybernetics, and it's a crazy name. Psycho comes from the word psyche, and it's just talking about our mind. We've talked about the self-image. We've talked about the mind and the stick person. That's the idea of what the mind really is. You now have an image for that and what that really is. But cybernetics is a big word, but it just means the science of control and communication in the animal and some machines. You can think about cybernetics being more like a thermostat, as I just said, or an autopilot on an airplane. If you set that autopilot, it's going to fly itself all the way to wherever it needs to go. You can think about it like a heat-seeking missile. A missile just locks on a heat signature and it continues to guide its way through there. So that's the science of communication and control. We actually have an internal thing that does that for us too, and that's that internal self-image. So environment is but our looking glass. We want to bring awareness in. That's the first thing we always teach in our coaching and thinking into results is you can't change something that you're not aware of. You're just going to continue to do it over and over and over again. That's what habits are. They don't cause any conscious thought or effort. You just automatically do it. And that's great because that's how we speak and walk and all the things that we do in this life that we didn't want to spend all that time every day consciously having to do, like me grabbing the water bottle. That's something I just do naturally. I felt like I needed to drink, so I get it. You didn't know how to do that when you first came into the world. You actually had to learn to use your muscles to do that. And you have so many things that are programmed in that way. But we also have that image programmed in that way. So in order to access that, we must first bring awareness in and start to be aware, what am I really thinking? What am I feeling on a deeper level about where I'm going with my fitness challenge and what I'm doing? Because that's what's going to matter. What you want to ultimately think and feel and make natural is that this is just who you are. You're a fit and healthy person for the rest of your life. You love to exercise. You've found the right type of exercise that works for you. You love the type of foods that you eat. They serve you. You're full of energy. So that's going to guide you through that process. But first, it's awareness. Bring it in. What's the difference between the two images that you have as you start to notice that about yourself? And how does this affect your performance and results? How would you like to change this? And that's really, how would you like to feel about yourself naturally? How would you start to like to feel about yourself with your health and fitness? Once you figure out what that is, all you're going to do is the same way you learned all those other things, the same way you're programmed, is that you're going to do it through constant spaced repetition. You're going to feel that again and again and again. You become aware when you're not feeling that. You're feeling your old image because it feels bad. And you want to just tell yourself you want to feel differently about this. What does it feel like to have the body that you want? What does it feel like to have the health and fitness and energy that you want? How are you received by those around you, those that you love? How do you go to work? How do you interact with people, go to church? Whatever it is that you do, bring all that stuff in and start to see and feel yourself that way. That's the big key for changing this. It sounds kind of funny too. Sounds like hocus pocus, but it only sounds that way because we're not taught this stuff. Now that you're hearing it for the first time, it's actually pushing up against programming that you had coming up of how we actually learn in school. We read, remember, and repeat stuff on a test, and we pass the test, and we think that that's learning, but it's not, because you can't recall any of the tests that you took back in high school or whatever. Like the things that we really have programmed into us is stuff that we've done over and over and over again until it becomes part of us. It's automatic, and you can reference it like that. You don't reference it with words, you reference it with feeling. It's always a feeling that you have, a vibration. But what's confidence? Because we all need confidence in order to do what we want. Well, with the self-image, the more the image of the person you want to be and the image you project are in alignment, the more confidence you have in your actions and the greater joy you experience in life. You've got to learn to be at ease with the person that you want to be. If you're not giving yourself permission to do that, you're holding yourself back for X, Y, and Z. Oh, I'm selfish, I'm taking too much time or things like that. That's going to guide you to a place that you don't want to go. You have to realize that taking care of yourself is one of the most selfless things that you can ever do, because you can never help anybody else if you're not in good shape, if you're not taking care of you. If you don't have your health and fitness, it doesn't matter what else you have in your life, all the things. you can't do anything. And we know that. That's why it's kind of up front and center. It's that thing that we have to take care of, but most of us put on the back burner until it becomes a big issue. Give yourself permission to do that so that you can actually go out there and serve the world better. You can be a better version of you. The foundation of real confidence is actually belief in self. It's not belief in any particular method. And that's why at M3, we don't teach, oh, you've got to go low carb, or you've got to go, low fat, or it's keto, or it's plant-based. We don't teach that. What we really teach is for you to have the confidence in yourself to find what works for you. When you believe that, you will find it every time, because you just know it's going to work out for you. It really isn't about knowing how to do the thing. It's about knowing that you can do the thing. You are the person who does the thing automatically. We break self-confidence down into two things. It's belief in self, as we had said. But what are those things? Belief is just habitual thoughts with feeling toward a thing. It's programmed into us. Again, with that, we have to bring awareness in to become, aware of what that is, what that feeling is. Belief is a feeling. And then self is the image we hold of ourselves. Now that you understand what the stick person is, you have to understand that you actually have an image of yourself. How do you really think and feel about yourself, that image? And when you find out what that is, it's no different than if you wish to change your car, or you wish to change your house, or you wish to change like your body. When you look at your body, you can see it. You have an image that you're moving toward. You can create, and you can also create that image for you. You can see yourself in a certain way and see yourself growing toward that person. This is the person that you want to be. It makes it easy to answer questions like, what would that person, the person that I'm growing into or I want to be, what would they do in this situation? How do they feel about this situation? How do they feel about their exercise? How do they feel about, what they eat? How do they feel about cooking their meals? What kind of energy do they have? What do they feel like when they get out of bed in the morning? You really just open up this whole world of looking at the world in a different way, from a different perspective, a different perception of who you are, what you are. Confidence. What areas in your life would you like more confidence? If you're struggling with your health and fitness, then absolutely you want more confidence in that. And you can bring it in by doing just what I said. What level of confidence does the person you want to be have? You can also draw from other people that you know to be healthy and fit, and say, well, how do they handle this? How do they think and feel about this? And when you get that answer, you can begin to bring those feelings in for yourself. How can you create that confidence? By A, seeing and feeling yourself successfully doing what it is that you want to do. And then do the thing to the best of your ability. Don't hold yourself to any performance goals. If you don't do well in your diet one day, or meal plan, diet's kind of a bad word. If you don't do well in your meal plan one day, don't beat yourself up over it. Understand that you're moving toward a goal, and you're going to fall. You're going to scrape your knees and mess up. That's how you learned how to walk. But just do it to the best of your ability and keep doing it like you did when you were little. Even when you were a little kid, you're passionate about achieving something. You're passionate about getting better at something. So you do it all the time, but don't hold yourself to any performance that it has to be this good, or I'm not going to do it, or it's not worth my time or worth my while. It's more about the frequency with which you do it over and over and over again, that you kick in that autopilot of what we are. That automatic thing is that you do something, you just get better at it. Humans are made that way. That's what we do. Every time we make a better attempt or a successful attempt at doing something, we override old programming that was lesser than that. It's like it just disappears. And now we start doing it better and better and better. We've seen this in our lives over and over again. That's why we practice sports, musical instruments, languages, martial arts. We do that stuff over and over and over again, because every time we get a little bit better, we just override that programming. And we build it into us habitually. It becomes part of that programming. You don't think about grabbing the water bottle anymore. You just think, I'm thirsty, and you grab it and you take a drink. It's automatic. It's automatic for you to get your fitness results. So this is lesson 6, the worksheet. I want to share it with you. You can screenshot this stuff, or you can write it down. It's very important that you do this and you check this out though. 1, discover the difference between your two images. Be honest with yourself. Don't give yourself answers that you think the world need to hear. This is just you doing work on you so that you can be a better version of you. Don't worry about what the world thinks. Just be outright. You can't get anywhere without knowing where you are first. Don't be judgmental about those things. Don't bother with those things. Just allow yourself to look at the thing objectively and then answer the question, what do you really want? So discover that difference between your two images. And then think of someone who has qualities you would like to develop in yourself. Now, there's also your life as a movie exercise. You can write out your movie of your life exactly the way that you want it to go. You can take a day in your life and actually write it out. Like, when I wake up in the morning, this is how I feel, and this is what I do, and this is my routine. It might not be happening for you right now that this movie is not showing up, but the more you think and feel this movie on a regular basis, you're going to be amazed at how much this stuff starts to show up in your life. The answers show up in amazing ways. It's because you're learning what this feels like. You're creating this vibration and you're putting that vibration out in the world. You're drawing that stuff to you. You're also conditioning yourself to receive it. So do this movie exercise in your health and fitness. Think about you, your energy levels, what you feel like in the beginning of the day, the middle of the day, during your exercise, when you eat, and later in your day, and write it out exactly the way that you want it to be, so that you can start to internalize that and draw that self to you, or that stuff to you, and you can begin to change your self-image of how you think about yourself automatically. I want to share this, that if you think about you and you have a overweight image about yourself, there's nothing you can do in the world to overcome that. There's nothing you can do if you let that image remain the same. It's going to guide you back no matter what. And you see this with weight loss surgeries. People will achieve success for short amounts of time, but unless somehow, some way that internal image is changed, even with the restriction of the surgery, people will go back and they will figure out, find a way, what seems impossible, like there's no way you can go back. They will find a way to go back to that image of being overweight. That's how important this stuff really is. We must address what we're thinking and feeling about ourselves along the way of taking the action of changing your health and fitness, because when you change that, you will receive permanent change. You will never ever have to go back into a space where you're having to go on a crash diet or trying to fight this thing again and again, because now this image that you've learned how to create automatically, cybernetics, automatically just keeps you there all the time. And I have a thing that I want to share with you. It's the Think and Grow Rich self-confidence formula. I'm going to put that up because I have that here. And I'll also, because I don't have anybody on right now, I will drop it in the chat. Now, my mentor passed away. I just recently heard about that, Bob Proctor. So I think the code word, the secret word for this is going to be Bob. Bob's amazing, just an amazing person. And the only thing that he ever wanted to do in the world, he would never want anybody to be sad that he moved on. He was 87. He was moving on to be 88 shortly in July. He would never want you to be sad. He taught us that, you know, we moved into these bodies, we're spiritual beings having a physical experience is what we really are. And your spirit moves into this body and it will move out. It's nothing that we should really be sad about. It's just a journey that we all have to make. And while you're here, your job is to express as much of your beautiful, infinite, and unique spirit as you can. And that's going to be done. You're only going to express in harmony with the image that you hold of yourself. And you need to know yourself as that amazing, beautiful, unique thing. There's something unique and amazing about you, and it's seeking expression through the desires that you have in your heart. One of the desires that you have, because you're part of this challenge, is to increase your health and fitness, to create the body that you want, create the energy you want, create the interactions with the world, family, people that you love, that you really want. So I'm going to share that. I'll drop it in the chat right here. Last key point, there is an image of perfection that is resident in the center of your consciousness. The more you move in the direction of that image, the more your life will improve. There is no end to the good that you can experience as you develop a greater awareness of the perfection that is within you. So keep doing that. It's It's almost like it's your duty. This is the greatest way that you can ever serve the world, is to show the world you being successful and understanding you, because that will attract, that will draw people to you who begin to ask questions about themselves and how they improve themselves. And the only way that you're going to know how to really help them improve themselves and their lives and their experiences is by you understanding how you did it with you. Then you're able to share it. That's when you're really moving in harmony with law and in harmony with what I think God really intended for all of us. That is the end. This is what I'm going to share. I'm going to share the self-confidence formula. As I drop it in the chat here, as you rewatch this, I hope you're able to grab this. Let's see if I can find it here. There it is in my tabs. Many people, this is from Think and Grow Rich, have received many benefits, huge benefits in self-image and self-confidence as they read this formula to themselves every day, and some people chose to read it every night. I'm going to post it right here. I hope you can grab the link. I hope that things work that way, because it's very powerful. If it calls to you, use it too. Use it every day and watch the amazing things show up in your life as you change your self-image. Matt here for M3, for the M3 40-day fitness challenge. Hope you take this information and you put it deep down inside of you and you use it to get all the results that you want in this life, because that's what we were really put here for. We weren't put here to struggle endlessly without receiving any form of benefit. We were put here to go through times of struggle in order to transform and express more of the wonderful thing that you are. And as you do that, you're actually affecting the world, you're changing the world in a positive way so that other people can make that change for themselves too. Bye-bye.